Welcome, friends and fans, to Munchies Minis, hosted by the Gluttonous Geek. My name is Catherine Barsonistis. I run the geeky recipe and food blog, The Gluttonous Geek, where I post recipes from movies, television shows, books, and just wherever I feel like making up things. This Munchies and Minis is my weekly Twitch stream where I cook up a Dungeons & Dragons or tabletop-inspired snack and then work on painting a miniature. Recently, I've been working on the 52 weeks of D&D challenge, and last week we had the challenge word of parties, so we made Cheeto sausage balls with Mountain Dew barbecue sauce. This week's theme word, I can speak words good, is orc. So I am making what I'm calling Orc Horde cherry charred pork, which are pork and cherry skewers with red onion. And let's go ahead and jump into that. So the idea that I had for this recipe was that, I have to keep the hard-working orc warrior in mind, orc warrior on the go. So I decided to make something that could be cooked over a warm, crackling fire, but also made with ingredients that they either already have on hand or would keep with them, or things that they would probably find along the way on their raiding parties. So first we're just going to start with a 3 pounds of pork tenderloin. I have already cut these up into 1.5 inch cubes. So that's going to be going on our skewers, as well as some canned cherries and bacon and red onion. So, like I said, we've got our pork right here, already cut it up, and now I'm just going to add 3 tablespoons of honey mustard dressing to coat that nicely. Get the excess there with the bag there. And it's a nice thing about using a Ziploc bag. Now, I apologize that I have started about 15 minutes late for this particular episode. I actually did start early, but we had a little bit of technical difficulties with my new monitor and trying to plug everything in. I did not have any sound, so you can imagine that was a bit of a panic attack ensuing, as I am wont to do when everything is set except something is not working. So I'm just kind of pushing that around to coat all of my pork pieces with that honey mustard dressing. So I'm just going to set that to the side right now. Next, I am going to mix up my spice blend with about a 1/2 tablespoon of kosher salt, I'm just going to mute my mic really quick as I blow my nose, otherwise you're going to think that sounds really disgusting. Microphone back on, excellent. So we got about a 1/2 tablespoon of kosher salt right here that I'm going to be adding 3 teaspoons of smoked paprika. Now the nice thing about smoked paprika is it tastes like bacon without actually being bacon. So for those health conscious out there that want to add bacon flavor to something without adding bacon, I know that's heresy. That smoked paprika is a good spice to do that with. And the fact that I'm using bacon already in this recipe, well, you get extra smoky flavor. You're welcome. Hello, new friend or follower. My name is Catherine Barsonistis. You are watching The Gluttonous Geek presents Munchies and Minis. It is a D&D and tabletop-inspired cooking show where I make a D&D themed snack and then work on painting a mini. This week's challenge word is orc, so I'm making spiced orc cherry pork skewers. You'll see in a minute. I've already got my honey mustard dressing on my pork. I'm just making my spice blend now. Now this is about a teaspoon of ground clove. I'm just adding that to my paprika and salt. And let's see, I've got about 2 teaspoons of ground cinnamon. Add that there. And 3 teaspoons of garlic powder. And I'm just going to take a spoon and mix that to a uniform consistency. And I'm curious to see how that smells. It smells delightful. Okay. All right, now I'm just going to add that to my pork and coat that up a bit. So, add about a tablespoon at a time. About 2 of these equals to about 2 to 3 of these equals about a tablespoon. Seal it up. Let the air out. Start going that around. Massage it into the meat some. Add some more. Get the air out. Seal it up again. And just start getting that in. Coating it a little bit more. As you can see, I'm kind of needing to flip this around a little bit because none of that spice blend has gone to the bottom of the bag yet. Now, the convenient thing about this is I am not touching the raw pork at all as I'm doing this. It is going to save me a lot of time from having to wash my hands multiple times throughout this entire process otherwise. That, and if you're already planning to make this dish for your raiding party later on in the day, just go ahead and get this cut up. Just get that done with. Save yourself some prep space and time and sanity. So, okay. Now, I'm just going to throw what remains of that spice blend into my bag. Okay. Let the air out, seal it up, and once again keep working that spice rub into the pork, this lean pork, to get it all coated and into the meat to season it nicely. Okay. All right. So, there you go. Now I'm just going to set that to the side for now as I start working my other ingredients for this. For those who are just joining us, a Orc Horde cherry charred pork inspired by Dungeons & Dragons. So, okay, I think first I'm just going to go ahead and cut up my red onion to make some chunks of it. So here is a quick knife skill tutorial. How to hold your knife. Don't hold it like that. That's an unstable hold. Put your index finger of your dominant hand under the blade right here, up against the handle, as you can see. And then put your thumb there. Comfortably wrap your fingers around the handle. Just kind of adjust as you go. And you can see that's not going anywhere. So, we got my red onion here. First, I'm just going to cut off this end right here. And now I have a stable surface to put my onion and then slice it in half. And now I'm going to take the peel off. As you can see, it's much easier to peel when you don't have, you know, the rest of the onion keeping it from peeling away. So, for those just joining us, my name is Catherine Barsonistas. You are watching the Gluttonous Geek presents Munchies Minis, a D&D and fantasy tabletop inspired cooking show and painting demonstration where I first cook up a snack inspired by the aforementioned games, and then work on painting a mini. Okay. So, okay, so now I have this onion half here. If you've seen me do a julienne before, you've seen me cut into strips. Now I'm going to be making half-inch chunks. So, well, not half-inch chunks, 1.5-inch chunks. So I just kind of want to go up. It's about 1 inch. That's about 1.5 inches. Go in, slice down, and then it's about 1 inch, 1.5 inches. Slice down. Kind of flip that over a little bit. Then inch, 1.5 inches, and cut. And then repeat as far, and now I think about 1.5 inches right there, so about halfway through the onion. So now I'm just going to cut through there, and I've got my onion pieces, at least some of them. I'm going to put them into a prep bowl for now, just so I have them in one spot. 2 prep bowls while I'm at it. Okay. I'm going to be threading these onto the skewers later. Okay. And now, just get that little butt end off there, or brood end off there. And now I am just going to repeat with the other half of onion right here. Okay. So, 1 inch, 1.5 inches. Slice down. 1 inch, 1.5 inches. Inch, 1.5 inches. And that's about, those pieces are large. I'm just going to cut that in half right there. I kind of misjudged my spacing there. Okay. So once again, going to cut that in half. And take off my fingers. No, I'm just going to peel that back a bit so I have a little bit more of a stable surface there to cut the root end off. And considering that I have quite a bit of onion as it is, I'm not really going to miss it, especially since I'm going to take all these onion peel and extra scraps and everything and put it into a freezer bag with all of my other old vegetable scraps. I just freeze this, and the advantage to this is that you can make your own vegetable stock, or, you know, chicken stock or lamb stock, whatever you happen to be cooking. Just put your, freeze your vegetable scraps, and when the bag is full, add it to a crock pot, fill it with water, and cook it for 8 hours. And then you have about 10 to 12 cups of delicious homemade stock that you didn't have to pay any extra money for. I'm all for that. Now I've got about, you can also put animal bones in this too. I've got lamb ribs in this particular bag, but my other stock bag has a whole chicken carcass in it from when we had a whole chicken. Okay, so I've got my onion chopped up. Now it is time to cut up my bacon. So I'm actually going to need a different cutting board for that because I don't want to contaminate my current cutting board. So I'm just going to cut that open. And yes, I am going to be using this whole pound of bacon here. You want to use smoked bacon. I mean, just hardwood smoked. I mean, the most bacon you're going to find at the grocery store is going to be hardwood smoked in some form or fashion. I'm just using a traditional cut sugar cured bacon. Just go simple. Don't spend too much money. I mean, thing is, you're just going to have something that tastes expensive, not something that's going to be expensive. The whole reason why you're cooking is to save money. Well, and to make something that you could probably get better than in a restaurant if you know what you're doing. But until then, don't worry yourself over getting special ingredients unless you can get them for cheap. So I'm just going to pull all of my bacon out here in one giant slab, if it'll let me. Oh, that looks, well, it looks like bacon. Which looks gross now, but won't in a little bit. So, since I'm going to be wrapping all of these pork pieces here in bacon strips to keep the pork moist, I need to cut my bacon into an even thirds to be able to wrap around each slice. So, it's about half, that's about a third. Just going to saw through there. And saw through there. Perfect. Okay. And just so I have some more room to work with, I'm just going to layer all of my bacon into a prep dish here. Keep the little fat bits there. Okay. And, you know, now that I have everything prepped, well, I'm going to need to wash my hands. I'm not going to do any more slicing tonight with this knife anyway, so I'm going to put that away. I might add some mint on later. That's going to be up to whether I think it needs it towards the end, but in the meantime, I'm just going to do a little bit of cleanup, switch us over to our tripod cam so you're not just looking at a dirty knife while I'm doing that. So, you're probably thinking, okay, how does pork and bacon really fit into this whole idea of an orc's meal? Well, orcs are not really what you would call farmers. I mean, it's not like they have or can own great tracts of land. Actually, I should probably wash my hands before I try to wash the handle first. It's fun and washing knives. And then wash my hands as I'm washing the handle. But yes, pork. Thing about raising pigs is that they don't really require large tracts of land like you would need for, say, cattle. I mean, chickens, same thing, but when you're out in the middle of the woods too, it's a lot easier to move a bunch of pigs than it is a bunch of chickens. Also, the nice thing about pigs, they eat everything. You can feed them your enemies. That, in fact, they probably taste like your enemies. So, hey. I mean, pigs taste like humans, and humans taste of pigs. Good, I'm glad you're going along with me on this. So, we are using a 3-pound pork tenderloin in this dish. You can go for about 2.5 if you're not able to find a 3. I mean, it is a rather large cut. But pork also tends to be a lot less expensive than, say, beef. And since it is a lean cut, we are using bacon as a fat to lard it. That is an actual cooking term, larding, where you basically thread a piece of lean meat with fat to keep it moist during a dry cooking application. We are grilling our pork skewers today, so that's still considered a dry application. It's the same as if you were doing roasting or baking in the oven. For the dry heat application, you want to retain fat for not only moisture, but also for flavor, because fat is a flavor carrier. That is just going to taste effing delicious, so, I mean, come on. Bacon. Everything's better with bacon. True story. Also, when you dry your knife, make sure to dry with the blade edge away from you. I've learned this the hard way. So, knife is clean. I'm going to put that away. And since it's probably going to take me about 10 to 15 minutes to preheat my pan and also to assemble my skewers, I'm going to go ahead and preheat my pan. Just going to move to our stove cam here. You can see I've got a grill pan here. You can also use a grill. I'm first just going to layer this up with some cooking spray. Now, if you're using a grill, you can preheat your grill ahead of time. Turn off the heat and then spray it, and then turn the heat back on. But if you have a grill, you probably already know that. So there you go. So I've got my grill pan here. Just going to turn the heat up to a medium-high flame and take about 10 to 15 minutes in preheating that. So I'm just going to set it for about 12 minutes right now, just so I can keep an eye on it. Now let's go back to our prep cam. And you know, after taking a drink of my bourbon and ginger ale, we're just going to start on putting stuff on skewers. Now, you can use wooden skewers that you've soaked overnight if you want to. I like to use these metal ones just because they're easy to use. I don't have to worry about soaking them. Also, I can just throw them in the dishwasher once everything's done. So I'm just going to be using those today. I think I've got enough. Yep, I've got about 6. This recipe should make about 6 of these skewers, which I think are about a little under a foot long. I would say this is probably around 9 inches of workable space. Or you can use these giant barbecue skewers. So it really just depends on what you are using and what you want to use, and also how hungry your adventuring party is. So let's go ahead and start assembling our skewers. So giant bag of pork. Open that up. Now, got a piece of pork and a piece of bacon. Or at least I'm trying to peel off a piece of bacon off here. That piece is not going to work. Okay, we'll use this piece of bacon. So I'm just going to wrap that loosely, well, as well as I can. And just skewer that through there. Put on a chunk of onion. And I just realized I forgot to drain my cherries, so let's go ahead and switch to our tripod cam to do that. Wash my hands first. So I am using canned pitted cherries for this recipe, because cherries currently are not in season. The idea behind using this for this particular recipe is that it's a low-hanging fruit that, you know, orcs can just kind of reach up and pick whenever they're hungry. So canned cherries, especially if you get like the red tart pitted cherries, I mean, they're still in good shape. It's not like, and don't get cherry pie filling, trust me, it won't work. This is usually packed in water. So I am just gonna drain all of that nonsense here. It's completely unsealed? No, not quite yet. I bet you never thought you'd be watching me just use a can opener on the screen. Yeah. Okay. Come on. Aha. Just gonna drain all the water from that. Probably should have kept it. That would have made a really nice reducing liquid. Well, oh well. I mean, it doesn't really cost that much. So, back to my prep cam. I'm just gonna dump these cherries in here. Well, take a handful and put them into my dish, because I might still want to use these cherries for something else later on. Let's see, that's about, I want to say it's about a half cup of cherries here. Let's just switch to our prep cam here. So you see, I've already got my pork with onion and bacon. So now I'm just going to add a cherry or 2 or 3. It just really depends on the, you know, condition of your cherries. Okay, and now I'm going to take another piece of pork, another piece of bacon, wrap around my pork. Stab that through there. And take another section of red onion. Now you're probably thinking, why red onion? Well, red onion is a delicious... Actually, I'm kind of squeezing the cherries there. It's getting some juice onto the bacon and all that while I'm doing it. Red onion is delicious both raw and cooked. It is probably one of the spiciest type of onion you're going to find. But it's got really great flavor, so it's going to add an extra kind of bite to the pork as you're eating this. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get more pork on this. So, okay. That's kind of two very thin slices of bacon, but since it's so incredibly thin on this strip, I'm just going to kind of double it up here. And stab that through. Okay. Meantime, hello new friends and followers. If you are just joining with us, my name is Catherine Varsanistis, and you're watching the Gluttonous Geek presents Munchies Minis. It is a D&D and fantasy tabletop inspired cooking show and painting demonstration where first I make an inspired dish or snack and then work on painting a mini. So right now I'm doing the 52 weeks of D&D challenge. Last week I was doing the challenge word party, so I did Cheeto sausage balls with Mountain Dew barbecue sauce. And this week the challenge word is orc. I'm having cherries go everywhere. Yeah, maybe if I just kind of stuff that under the bacon. There we go. You didn't see that, or did you? Either way, it'll be delicious. But yeah, so I'm making bacon-wrapped pork skewers with cherries and red onion. So basically a Horde cherry charred pork. So I've already got this pork coated with honey mustard and a paprika spice, smoked paprika-based spice blend that I've just made up. Oh. And now I'm just assembling things as my pan continues to heat up behind me, and it looks pretty darn hot already. But that's okay, because I think I might be ready to put at least one skewer on there soon. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I think I might be able to fit another round of pork and onion on there. Especially if I kind of smush those cherries in. I can tell you, even raw, this is smelling amazing. So I am looking forward to how this is going to taste. And this recipe will make about 6 skewers, which is usually about enough to feed your standard raiding party. And as you can see, these aren't, these are definitely not wimpy pieces here. So you will be able to feed your raiding party with this, trust me. Okay, so there we've got one skewer. So I'm just going to put that on the grill and switch to my stove cam. And get that going for about 3 to 4 minutes on each side. I'm just going to start the timer now for 3 minutes while I wait. And now start making up another skewer. So I will admit, I really kind of wish I had the time to pull together a little bit more of a production for this episode. One of my favorite D&D based web series is called Journey Quest, and the orcs from this show just really steal the show. They have their own language and everything, and they're just absolutely hilarious and fantastic. I was hoping to bring them on, kind of Skype them in for this episode, but I just didn't have really time to coordinate with that with them. someday, you know, that would be awesome. But in the meantime, you know, we're still making small steps. I know this channel is still pretty small. But someday, you know, someday I'll bring on some special guests onto the show. Okay. All right. Yep. As I said earlier, just kind of piece of pork, wrap that in bacon, skewer that through, some onion, so I'm not going to lie, those skewers smell amazing right now. I'm really excited to see how they turn out. Big thing about cooking is being able to use all your senses to be able to kind of time things out and smell if things are done. To listen to see if it's still, listen to hear that if it's still sizzling. Okay, it sounds like I need to go ahead and turn my skewer. Wash my hands really quick here. And for this, I'm actually going to be using 2 sets of tongs to be able to work things out right. So I've got a, you know, for dealing with the raw meat and for dealing when stuff is fully cooked. So, haha! Awesome. That is looking really good. Okay. And go for another 3 minutes. Get that charring up nicely. Right. And I, like as you can see, I am almost done with this particular skewer, so just go ahead and do a little more threading here. Piece of bacon. Piece of pork. That's a pretty big one. Let's do that one. Wrap that up. And stab it. Get some onion on there. Let's do, I'm doing about 2 slices per round. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And try to get 6 pieces onto each skewer here. Piece of bacon. Piece of pork. Wrap it up. Stab it through. And finish that off with a piece of onion. And, oh look, it's finished skewer. I'm just gonna put that on my grill and set another timer for about 3 minutes. Cool. So, let's see. Okay, so since I am getting close to that first skewer being done, I'm just gonna wash my hands and switch viewpoints here. Because I also want to keep these skewers warm after they come off the grill, since it does take a little while for them to cook in batches. That is if you're cooking them immediately like I am. So, just first get your hands clean, and we'll be wanting to take a plate with aluminum foil. Keep things warm. So I'm just going to make a quick tent of aluminum foil ready to go when I take that first skewer off the grill. So about 30 seconds left on this one. Switch to my stove cam. Okay. Now we doing? It is smelling amazing, I will definitely give you that. How am I doing on the rest of my supplies here? I probably have enough for about, let's say 4 to 6 skewers maybe. Okay, so that first skewer is done. I'm just going to transfer it. Do a quick sear on each side. Quick browning. And now, transfer it to my plate. I'm going to cover it with tin foil. To keep everything warm. Cool. Alright, and I've got a minute left on the other skewer, but I'm just going to go ahead and start assembling another skewer while I'm at it. So let's go back to our prep cam. And get a thicker piece of bacon than that. Okay. Alright. Probably stand to do a little smaller piece of pork with this. Okay. Wrap pork up in bacon. Stab it through. And make sure that you're getting both the pork and the bacon in that stab. Some onion. Some cherry. So for those of you curious as to whether or not this stuff is actually written down somewhere, you're in luck. I do have a Patreon page, where, as well as a Ko-Fi page, where while you can watch this video over and over again for free, I also have printable PDF recipe cards available. Watch your knuckles. Better than I was. Okay. Excellent. 3 minutes. Okay. But yeah, I do have a Patreon and Ko-Fi page where you can get these recipes in a printable form, so it's easy to find them. If you join my if you make a $2 donation to Ko-Fi, you can get this recipe card as well as my current blog post recipe card, which at the moment is a Game of Thrones inspired ice cream cake based off the White Walkers. That is at my Ko-Fi page, which is ko-fi.com/the Gluttonous Geek, or you can click the link in the chat, which I'm about to pop out right now. Or at least it should be popping out right now, but I'm not really sure what the heck is happening to my Stream Deck. You gonna work for me? I have to re-click my Stream Deck. Okay. What on earth is happening with my Stream Deck? Okay, this is not good. Right. And at least it would be in the chat if I didn't have technical difficulties going. Anyway, it is linked off of my main blog, thegluttonousgeek.com, so there you go. Or you can go to my Patreon and get access to all of my Munchies and Minis recipes if you go to patreon.com/thegluttonousgeek. And that is at the Kitchen Twitch level and above, which is about $5 a month. And if you join that, you also have a chance of winning the monthly mini giveaway, where you get to win the mini that I paint this month, which, since this week's theme is Orc, I thought, I've got a nice little Orc warrior, let's paint him up. Haven't given him a name yet, but I figure that'll arrive when we start painting him. he starts coming to life, so to speak. So, there we go. And let's see, another piece of pork with some bacon. It is a smaller piece, so that'll work well for this. Okay, wrap it up and stab it. And yeah, I know this is repetitive, but sometimes repetitive stuff is actually kind of therapeutic to watch. Or do. Alright, sounds like my second skewer is ready to take off the, off the pan. So I'm just going to, my hands a quick rinse. Brown a little bit on each side just to make sure that I have everything cooked. Okay. I'm just going to transfer it to my plate. There you go. Okay. Just take that little cherry bit off of there. Okay. Good stuff. Just turn my vent on a little higher there to get the excess smoke, and probably don't need it, but just I'm getting quite a bit of bacon fat anyway, but you know, can't hurt to keep things oiled, keep things good. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I am almost done with this pork skewer. And might actually make things a little faster if I, well, you know, actually paid attention to what I was doing. Okay. Yeah. Okay, those cherries are still good. So I'm going to pour a few more into this mix. Alright. And cherries. And pork. And more onion. Cool. Alright. Switch to my stove. Aha! And let's just get back to assembling skewers. You know, after I actually put the timer on, because I forgot to do that. So, 3 minutes. Okay. Onion. Ah, get back here. All right. Just gonna stuff that little piece of cherry into the bacon piece. Make things stay. So that is the trouble when you start working with canned cherries. Since it has been cooked in the can, it tends to be a little softer than a fresh cherry. But like I said, since cherries are currently not in season, this is probably the best option you're going to have until then. So, once again, back to skewering some pork and wrapping it with bacon. Now, for those just joining us, my name is Catherine Barson-Eastis. You are watching the Gluttonous Geek presents Munchies Minis, a D&D and fantasy tabletop-inspired cooking show where I first make a snack and then work on painting a mini. And today's 52 weeks of D&D challenge word is orc, so I am making bacon-wrapped pork skewers with cherries and red onion. And so what I have right here is I first coated my pork with honey mustard dressing and then made a paprika-based spice rub to kind of, actually first I need to add some cherries to that, to spice things up a little bit. And now I am threading it with bacon to keep the pork moist, and red onion and cherry to kind of add a little bit of a some spicy, sharp flavor, as well as a little bit of sweetness to balance it all out. I was trying to go for something that, would be good kind of cooking over a roaring fire. So I currently have, as you see here, one skewer on the stove top of my grill pan. And I'm just working on kind of getting more of this all assembled. I currently have 2 already finished. And this one should be ready in just a minute to start grilling as well. Okay, the timer just went off. Here's a quick rinse so I don't have bacon bits flying all over the place. Get up. Okay, and switch to my stove cam. Now, set the timer for 3 minutes. Okay. Cool. Now back to assembling my skewer. As you see, I'm almost done with this particular one, which is good because that other one's going to be ready in about 3 minutes. Take off. Onion. 1, 2, 3, 4. Trying to get about 6 pieces per skewer, just so I have things even. And my bacon's starting to kind of fall apart on me some. I think I managed to get the pieces that are mostly fat at this point. So they're being a little bit more temperamental. But that's okay. This is going to be delicious. I have full faith in myself and this recipe that I just made up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. Two cherries. Hello, Dad. Hello, Mom. Cherry bomb. This is the stuff I do when it's quiet in the room and it's just me. No, actually, usually I'm just dancing around my kitchen while listening to Spotify, but I can't really put any of that music on here without having to run into licensing issues. So put on your favorite playlist and imagine that I'm dancing in the kitchen to it. Okay, there you go. All right, another skewer. Trying to set a timer with my wrist, or knuckles. Okay, there we go. And let's see, about 46 seconds left on that first skewer. So I'm just gonna have to speed things up here a little bit. So like I said, I'm trying to fit about 6 pieces of pork on each skewer. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Actually, I think I might be out of bacon soon, come to think of it. Well, oh no, I'll have leftover pork to put on delicious, delicious things. Anything but that. No, don't give me delicious things. Yes, okay. So, alright. Got my piece of pork, wrap it in bacon. Stab it. While trying to keep the bacon intact. And it sounds like my timer has gone off for that skewer that's currently done. Let's move to the stove cab. Wash my hands briefly. Get all this bacon mess off of me. Alright. I'm going to transfer that to my plate. Well, let's see how that does. Brown each bit a little bit. Okay. And then transfer that to my plate of finished skewers. Okay. Cool beans. Okay, so one piece of pork. Some flying all over the place. Some red onion. Cherries. The most intact ones you can find out of the can. Bacon. Pork. You're getting the idea, right? Okay. Let's see. More onion. More cherries that are now falling all over the place. Okay. Right. It's not wanting to be threaded. Okay. It is time to flip. Maybe I can go just a little bit faster here. Now I just need the Benny Hill theme song playing right now, admittedly. But alas, time to turn that other skewer. It's alright, this set of tongs is kind of covered in bacon grease anyway. There we go. Cherries on a skewer. Pork with bacon. Stab it. Probably good that I'm only making 6 this round too, because I'm starting to run out of bacon. Okay. One more onion piece, and we're good to go. Cool. Damn it. 5. It's going to do 6 pieces. This is how my brain's going right now. Probably the first time I swore all stream. Or at least everything that was still on the microphone anyway. Alright, and More onion. Because that's about as much as I can fit. Okay. Now it can go. And cook. Alright. One last one! Yes! So, 6 pieces of meat. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Alright, you know the drill. Gotta bacon it. Wrap that sucker with bacon. Stab it. Add some red onion. Add a few cherries. And hope they actually stay on your skewer. They might not. They might. It's a mystery. Okay. Another piece of meat. What's left of my bacon? I really don't have much bacon left here. Gotta stab it so it fits. Come on. I know you can do this, bacon. Work with me. Shut up, timer. No one likes you. Oh, gosh. Alright, which timer went off? That would be the one I currently have on the grill. Let's get that off the grill. And quick wash. Because bacon needs to be fully cooked, damn it. Alright. Do it quick. Okay, there we go. If you want to take a look so far, there it is. It's looking pretty good. It's smelling pretty great. Just keep that under foil to keep it warm. Looks like I'm going to have to flip my other one soon. So 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and flip. All right. Okay, now we have one last skewer to arrange before I drive myself absolutely and utterly mad. Okay, so for those just joining us, my name is Catherine Barsonesis. You are watching the Gluttonous Geek presents Munchies Minis, a D&D and fantasy tabletop-inspired cooking show and painting demonstration where I first make a snack inspired by the aforementioned games, and then work on painting a mini. Now this week's challenge word of the 52 Weeks in D&D Fan Art Challenge is orc, so I am making some, what I'm calling Horde Cherry Charred Pork. So lean pork wrapped in bacon with cherries and red onion. Grilled to charred perfection. Get a few more cherries in there. Oh wait, nope. Onion first, okay. Whew, I'm loopy. Come on, get on that skewer. Put feta cheese, oh gosh, I wish I had feta cheese on me right now. I do have like an herbed cheese, but I actually also have some fresh mint that I'm probably going to put on the final picture to kind of go with it, because the spice blend that I've put together for this is a mix of smoked paprika, kosher salt, garlic powder, cinnamon, and clove. And I know that, actually I first need to get those cherries on there. Come on. Clove, cinnamon, and mint goes delightfully together. Stay. But I think, I don't know, do I have any goat cheese? I know I've got some cheddar. But, yeah. Come on, brain. Keep working. Keep working for me. I know that you're exhausted. But you can make it. This is the last skewer. You can do it. Oh, crap. Did I set a timer? Okay, I think it's been about a minute and a half, so let's go with about a minute more, because I probably am overestimating that. Okay, right, last skewer, cherries. Get those suckers on there. I know I started out so calm. Not anymore. All right. Last skewer, you can make it. Come on, brain, you can do it. You only have to paint for about 45 minutes after this. You can do it. Da-da-da-da-da-da-da. Okay. Right, cherries. Okay. And the last piece of pork that is going on these skewers. Giggity? Huh. Okay, come on. Work with me here. This is the last tiny piece of bacon that I have here, so I'm just going, come on, stay on here, dang it. Why did I have to pick such crap pieces for this last piece? Okay. Okay, and I'm just going to seal that off with some onion. Which is perfect timing because that last skewer is done. Ha-bam. Wash my hands a bit, get all this mess off my hands. Because my hands are covered in bacon grease right now, I can tell you. Alright, okay, so that second to last one is done. Let's transfer it to a plate with all my nice ones. First, I'm just going to kind of brown it a bit on each side. And then, put that on my plate of finished skewers. And enter the timer for about 3 minutes on that final skewer. And while I'm doing that, I'm going to take a well-deserved sip of my bourbon and ginger ale because, dang it, oh boy, that was really getting pretty intense towards the end there. Yes. Okay, so while I'm waiting for that to cook, big thing in cooking, clean as you go. As you can see, I still have some pork left over, but I'm probably going to save that for breakfast Saturday morning. Just kind of fry that up with some more chopped bacon that I have in the fridge. And maybe also what's left of this onion, because, you know, I know it looks kind of gross, but that's okay because guess what? We're just going to throw it right into the bag of pork. It's all going in the same pot. It's all going to get charred up. It's going to be delicious. So, just save myself some sanity here. And the fact that it's going to be marinating for the next few days in that spice mix and spice and honey mustard mix, it's going to be effing delicious with some toast and eggs. So I'm looking forward to that. Waste not, want not, I like to say. And I still have a ton of cherries left. I'm just going to go ahead and throw away what I have here because it's covered in bacon juice and kind of gross. But cherries, I think I'm going to save and put into... Oh crap, that's actually bacon. Whatever. Some things will be wasted. That just happens to be it that is being wasted. So I still have some cherries left over from that, so I'm just going to throw that into a quart bag. And I think what I might do with it is probably do some, like a cherry and wine reduction on some chicken breast maybe next week. Or some pork tenderloin, if I happen to have any at that point. I mean, I'm a big supporter of using what you have and making use of what you have left over. And let me tell you something, cherries and a nice wine reduction to go on steak or something like that, delicious. So keep what's left of your cherries. Do not throw them out unless they've been touching pork bits. I mean, granted that's going to get boiled up too, but it'll be fine. So, just doing a quick wash off too, so I'm not getting driven crazy over the next couple hours and the next day trying to make sure everything's clean. Okay, let's see here. I think, yeah, that's definitely charred. Just gonna cook it a little bit longer on the other side, about a minute. Because it looks good, but I kind of want a little bit more char to it. So, yeah, you can see that side is already charred up. And I realize I am talking and you're looking at my butt. That is fine. I have a butt. We all do. Okay. Pardon me. I swallowed my own. I choked on my own spit. That's a great thing to do, right? Okay, so that is almost done cooking. Like I said, big component of clean as you go. Just gonna load up what I have. Do I have room for these? I'm gonna make room for these. Aha, there's room for these. This can go down here. I think when I add those, doesn't really matter at this point. Okay, so that last skewer is definitely done. So I'm going to turn off my heat, switch to my stove pan for now. Take the last skewer, with cherry, off my grill pan, and then congratulations, you have enough charred pork skewers to serve up to a party of 6. Or, you know, one really, really, really hungry orc. So yes, now we are done with the cooking portion of our show. We still have about 40 minutes left, so I'm going to start painting my new little Orc Mini, the first coat of paint, since it's the first episode of the month. And thank you for joining me so far. I am going to be awkward for a few minutes as I switch over to my paint station. Do bear with me and be patient with me as I do that. And yeah, so you'll be seeing a little behind the scenes because I am very paranoid that I'm going to disconnect my cameras as I move things. If I move things around, I kind of want to make sure I don't disconnect my cameras. Oh, right. And if you want a little bit of garnish, I am thinking about it. I am going to cut some fresh mint from my aeropod garden because it is overgrown and needs to be trimmed. So, let's just see. Those pieces are crap. Those pieces are crap. Oh, hello. You'll do. So that. And that. Okay. So, got some fresh mint here, so you can see. Just going to do a quick strip those. Okay. And just take the leaves that I stripped and roll them into a roll here. And now, I'm just going to take my scissors and cut that over to garnish it some. And just add just a little bit of extra flavor. Cool. Wha-bam. All right, now just bear with me as I switch over stations and we will get to our painting portion. So, I believe that first I need to do a little bit of switching here by turning around my camera. Shifting over my Stream Deck, since I don't have an extension cord currently for it. Pushing that back. And get my paint station set up here. Cool. And I definitely need to be down. So let's kind of point that down a little bit more. That's good. And let's get this camera here and see how we're doing with it. So, prep. Cool. Definitely need a little bit more light. Where is my battery pack? Here we are. Get my main light. Going here. Okay, let's see, tripod. That could be a little bit better. So, raise that up just a wee bit. Okay. There you go. Cool beans. Okay, so paint station is looking good. And I'm going to put the camera down just a wee bit more so you can see a little bit more in detail what I'm doing here. So that's, you can see I've got an Orc Warrior here that I'm going to start painting. I think he's very cool. Have to get some water to start painting up and some paper towels. In the meantime, I think I might help myself to one of those skewers. Because even though I've already had dinner tonight, the smell of them's kind of driving me a little crazy. In a good way. Okay, got my water. Grab a bowl. Thank you for being patient with me as I move everything over. Okay. Now the last thing I need is a beverage. So grab that too. All right. Good stuff. Switch my microphone back to the front, and I think we are good to go. Okay. Right. Okay, so here I am at my paint station. And I know I'm not ready to start eating my orc, but I will eat my pork skewer pieces. Dang it, that's good. Okay. Okay, so first, I need to get a base coat on my orc guy here. Have not come up with a name for him yet. So, I need to pick out some colors, obviously. So, let's see, I've got Castellan green. And I'm definitely going to need to pale that up with some white. Make it a little paler. And let's see here. I'm going to have to get his clothes, of course, as well. Bad and black for the hair, I'm thinking. And please tell me this is closed. Okay. goodness. I'm seeing fur, I'm seeing chainmail, I'm seeing skulls. I can definitely get those various details on later. But since I want to get the base colors on, I'm going to want to at least get those leather trousers going, painted. Probably with, like, let's do some Bugman's Glow for that. I'm sorry, this pork is just so good. I have to have another piece. Man, that's good. Okay. So, and yeah, I think those will definitely be my base colors as I start out on this piece. So, let's go ahead and start painting. Okay. Alright, first I want to get the most dominant color on this piece going. Actually, I should probably look for my metallics as well. Where did all my metallic paints go? Oh no, they're right here. Okay. So I got my lead belcher for the armor. And my Bugman's Glow, at least is a... no, that should be a highlight. I should use my Mornfang Brown to get my base leather. And unless I want to do a light leather. You know, a lot of my minis have been kind of dark lately. I think I'm gonna do a Bugman's Glow, and that way I can do a bit of highlighting with some Rakarth flesh. Or let's do the other way around. Rakarth flesh for that. And I'm definitely going to need some metallics for the axe and armor. So, yep, got my lead belcher. And let's start with that to get us going. And let's see, that is looking kind of like a grass-covered platform. So I'll do that and probably do that in green, or maybe even kind of a rocky base. Let's picture that he's probably in in a dungeon or something. So let's go with gray and black for that. Okay, so believe it or not, I am actually going to want to start with my platform on here. So first, I'm just going to shake up my Celestia Gray. Okay, cool. Got my gray, and let's use you. Yes, let's use you to get my platform paint going here. Just a bit of gray. And a bit of water to make that spread a little better. Okay. And, yep. Just gonna get that base coat on the platform there. That way I can start focusing on some other things and not try to dodge it so much. Okay. No, you're not really seeing that much at the moment with it, but that's only because I haven't gotten to the other colors yet. Okay. Okay, and do I need that gray anywhere else currently? That would be a no. Okay. So we'll come back to that. And now I want to go start on my leather pieces. So I'm going to start out with Rakarth flesh because I want this to be a paler leather that I can then take some Bugman's Glow and add a little bit more shadows to it. Okay. And I'm just thinking he probably is wearing deer skin rather than cow leather. Either deer skin or pig skin. I mean, you know, waste want not. So, just add a little bit of water to that. And just start painting. Just to get my base color on there. And I think I'm going to actually get those skulls too. Just to add a little bit of aged look to them. Okay. Oh, joy. Okay. Well, you can still see that. This looks like my battery pack on my light ran out. Okay. Ooh. Just got another bite of pork here. Red Hand Film says amazing, tasty noms from above. That would be my husband saying that the pork is also delicious. Thank you, honey. I'm glad you guys enjoy it. Oh my god. That is too good. Okay. Good. So, for those wondering why I'm eating on stream earlier, I mean, this Munchies and Minis is a cooking demonstration and then a painting demonstration. I just made a spiced pork and bacon skewer with cherries and red onion. It tastes amazing. If you want to rewatch the episode, there's that. I'll also be posting the full episode on YouTube. And I also will have my recipe cards available on my Patreon and Ko-Fi. So for the challenge word of orc, that's what I went with. And as you see, I am now painting an orc. This little guy who will have a name as soon, you know, as I paint a little bit more and decide his story. Excellent. Oh gosh, I'm sorry, this is just so tasty. All right, done eating for the next 5 minutes. Okay, back to painting. Okay. All right, looks like I'm got a little bit more paint of that Ricard flesh. to get on my mini here to start getting that leather in there. A bit more. And water it down slightly. Okay. I kind of want to go for a little bit of a deerskin look. So, like I said, I'm just using this as my base right now until I can add a little bit more color to it. Also, part of it too is that once I get some shades onto this, it's going to darken up a lot. And I've noticed with the last few minis I painted, they've been really dark, and I just kind of want to brighten them up slightly. Now, I know I probably picked a rather strange mini to brighten up, considering that this is an Orc Warrior, but maybe we'll just make him a bright and happy Orc Warrior. I could make him a bright and happy Orc Warrior. Let's make him a bright and happy Orc Warrior. Let's make him fabulous. We'll call him Bubbles. Bubbles the Orc. And he's got a rebellious side. Like, we're going to give him fabulous colored hair. I know I originally had him with black hair. I think I am going to try my Turbo Dork Bubblegum Crisis color shift paint. It says to get vibrant results to apply over a black undercoat. So yes, while I am going to give him black hair, it's going to be pink, y'all. Heck yeah. And my cat is snoring. I'm not kidding. My cat is snoring. And it is the cutest thing ever. Here, let me switch the camera over here. You can see my snoring kitty cat. See, where is she? Where are you? There you are. That's my little princess. Her name is Ginger. That's my dirty kitchen floor. Come on, camera, work with me. Why are you? Oh, that's right, because you're all. There she is. There's my little girl. Yeah, and she was snoring about a minute ago. And it was the cutest sound ever. I need to set up a cat cam, it seems, for my streams. Because kitties are adorable. And they're awesome. And there need to be more videos of them. As if the internet's not already populated with cat videos all over the place. So, okay, and this last bit of fur. And the reason why you see his face like that is he is so happy to be charging into battle. It's the best thing ever. Everything is the best thing ever. Think like if Pinkie Pie were an orc. That's what we're going for here. All right. Okay, so let's go ahead and get our skin painted up. Pardon. Whew. Okay. I'm okay. All right, so gonna need some, some green. So just gonna get some green onto my palette. Pardon me. Wow. Oh boy. And that, wow. My onion went down the wrong tube. All right. Pardon me. Add some white to that. First, get it all mixed first. Man, I'm okay. I'm good. Okay, so bit of white, a lot of white, to lighten that up some. I'm okay. I promise. Whew. Just the fact that I have to talk while doing all this. Whew, all right. Dang it. Ooh, tearing up. Okay. All right, that's a good paler green there. So now, I'm just gonna get paint all over my fingers first, of course. And start painting his skin. I imagine that chainmail probably chafes. I mean, he's on bare skin. That's gotta hurt. I'm okay, I promise. Whew. Oh, don't mind me. I'm just dying. Wow. Okay. I mean, I paint his fingers now, but I just know I'm going to have to go over it again at some point. Whew. I'm just going to mute my mic for just a second. Okay, and we're back. All right. Sorry about that. I mean, you've been listening to me cough for the past 5 minutes. I figured you probably didn't want to listen to me blow my nose either. So, just continuing to paint this guy's beefy arms. Alright. Okay. Oh, yep, still have a bit of skin there. And right there. Okay, I'm liking that color so far. It's definitely going on evenly. Being a good highlight to his features at the moment. now I guess what's left is getting all the metallic pieces started. What I'm actually going to do on this is first do a layer of black on all of those pieces. So I can just kind of get started on the nooks and crannies. I mean, it looks like we're not going to have any time this particular stream to start getting detailed with my with all the highlights and shadows, but at least we can get a good base coat going. So first, I'm just going to get quite a bit of black here. Just get that ready to go. Add just a touch of water to even out some. So little can go a long way, I can tell you that. First, just gonna paint in his axe. Get the base coat going on that. Just trying to get on his leather some, so I just gotta wipe that up. And I'm just gonna paint over that. That's the nice thing about painting 3D surfaces, is that you don't really lose stuff all that much. Because your shapes are going to be they're just going to remain. And I mean, when you add highlights and shadows, the paint kind of does the work for you and goes into those nooks and crannies that you need it to. And admittedly, this is not the neatest thing in the world at the moment. Ah! Wow. You know, I'd be worried about getting paint on my crappy linoleum floor, but it's my crappy linoleum floor that I'm going to cover up within the next few years anyway, so that's fine. Just gotta be really careful along these edges here. Okay. Cool. All right, so it seems like we got a good base coat going on our Orc Warrior Bubbles. Bubbles the Belligerent. I'm just going to go in and just do a little bit of touch-up, even though I can't really get a true touch-up until this all dries. But I'm just a little OCD, so I'll just do that because I feel like it. Okay, and that, I'm going to have to wait for that to dry some before I can really get it to go away. Yeah. Oh, and we got our feetses here. A little bit of green on the feets. You know you have cats when you start referring to feet as feetses. Okay. No, we don't want a green helmet. We want a black helmet to start out with. Do as I say, not do as I do. Okay. Okay. Well, I think that's about as good as we're going to get it at the moment until I'm able to do some layer painting next week. But in the meantime, I hope you enjoyed this episode. I'm just going to switch back to my tripod cam here. My name is Catherine Barsonistas. You were watching the Gluttonous Geek presents Munchies and Minis. As you probably already know, this is a live cooking demonstration and painting demonstration where I make a D&D or fantasy tabletop inspired snack and then paint a mini. This week's challenge word was for orcs, so we made some cherry charred pork skewers with bacon and red onion. And if you would like to get the full recipe in a printable format, you can hop by my Ko-Fi, which will that work for me? Yes, it finally worked. For a $2 donation this week, you can get my printable recipe cards for this recipe, plus the recipe I just posted up yesterday, which was for a dragon ice cream cake inspired by Game of Thrones. You know, winter is coming, as well as the final season premieres, so if you're interested in making that up, go ahead and drop by my Ko-Fi. Or if you would like access to all of my Munchies and Minis recipes, and that would be every single one I've posted so far, join my Patreon community, which I'm about to drop in the chat here, at the Kitchen Twitch level or above, which is about $5 a month, where you'll not only will you get access to the recipe cards for all of these recipes, you'll also be able to vote in polls, see monthly newsletters, get cook-along playlists for every single blog post recipe that I make, as well as get an entry in the monthly mini giveaway, where you have a chance of winning the mini that I paint this month. And just to let you know, there's only one other person on there right now, so as long as it's just her, she's the only one who's been getting minis. I mean, come on. She's awesome. I love her to death, but the chances are pretty low, so if you join up now, you get a good chance of winning our Bubbles of Belligerent here. I've got about 2 minutes left in the stream here, so I'm not really sure what else to say except maybe take another bite of pork, because, my God, this stuff's delicious. And incredibly moist. So, I really highly recommend that recipe, and that's not just me wanting to make a buck. That recipe is bloody delicious. So, I'm enjoying the hell out of it, which, I mean, you will also enjoy the hell out of it. So, yeah. That's this week's recipe. Next week, the challenge word is going to be quest. So I'm making what I'm currently calling treasure chest MacGuffin muffins, which you'll get to see what those are starting next week, Wednesday at 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. Eastern. Do join us, or please join us on or on Meal Prep Monday, which is Monday, from 5 p.m. to 7 p.m., where I'll probably be prepping recipes for my final Game of Thrones recipe, so you can see a little bit of my meal prep methods there, as well as just kind of see me ramble and run around my kitchen, in a little less focused format, because how many things can I prep for the rest of the week within 2 hours? And it's kind of surprising how much I can do. So, thank you so much for joining us tonight on Munchies and Minis. Please join us next week. And my name is Catherine Barsonistas. You've been watching the Gluttonous Geek presents Munchies and Minis. Thank you and good night.